This is our journey. Hey guys, welcome to baby.
You're not even gonna give me a chance to say hi. Okay, so this doubles up as a podcast and a vlogmas episode. So it should be day 9 of vlogmas, right?
Yeah, it's day 9. Even though we've done 8 videos.
Doesn't matter. It's day 9.
It's day 9.
Yeah.
So today's topic, I have no idea what it is.
As usual.
No.
I
do know the topic. It's just that I forgot what you said. But you actually posted a video on Instagram today.
Yeah.
And I was like, we need to go deeper.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So let me read this week's review. Aha moment, and we got a 5-star, and it's by Lessa Mom. Okay. Hey guys, I just listened to all episodes and repeated my faves. I even have a journal that I'm noting down my highlights and aha moments from what you are saying. The letting go of little things episode speaks to me. You guys, I have a problem of holding grudges, don't we all? To a point whereby I even stopped talking to my husband over things he's not even aware that he is doing wrong. The cup scenario you guys just talked about is me, and the closet situation, that's me. Thank you for sharing both sides, because I actually understand why my husband responds the way that he does sometimes. Continue doing the Lord's work, guys. You know what's great about these reviews is that we can all just relate and connect. And with this, you kind of feel like, oh, actually, I'm not the only one who has this problem.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what we learn, is that we're actually going through everything, or we're going through life together, even though we all have our different journeys. But really, we face some very similar issues, and we can learn so much from each other's walks.
100%. And I think we realize this the most when we like chilling with your sister and her husband.
Oh, we learn so much.
Those are always, I call it our therapy sessions.
Yeah, it's the best, guys. Yeah. If you guys can do anything for yourself, if you're married, now the best thing you can do is get couple friends.
Yeah.
Who you guys can really kind of hang out and just talk openly. You realize that there's so much that it's not exclusive to you.
Yeah.
It happens across like different marriages.
Yeah.
So it also feels nice when you have someone who
gets you.
Yeah, who can understand what you're going through.
But
of the time,
I think it's also important to get a couple where you share similar values. Yeah. Like the other time we were together and Brie and I were on the same side.
Yeah.
And then as the conversation goes, I realized, and I'm just like, am I alone now? And I think that helps with the reflection. It's like, okay, let me reflect. Why do 3 people agree on the same thing?
And I don't see it.
And now I don't see it. And it's just helped us to see things from different perspectives.
Yeah, it's so important. But that's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. Yeah. So what we're talking about today, I shared a video by Jay Shetty. You guys know, once I discover someone, like I go for them.
Mpoomy is like one of those people, when she finds something, she overdoes it.
Is it overdo it though?
You overdo it.
Well,
babe.
you know what? Maya Angelou said, when you learn, teach, when you get, give. When I find someone interesting, like when I found Robin Sharma, and by the way, most of the people close to me now are part of 5 a.m. Club. So when you find someone who's life-changing, you want to share because you realize, oh my gosh, this is so good. I want everyone to have it.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Anyway, so I discovered Jay Shetty, and he was a monk for about 3 years, and he's obviously got a whole lot of tools.
How did you discover him?
I discovered Jay Shetty because of Brendan, who wrote 2 pages and put the book down and never picked it up again.
No, that's not true. So I've been listening to his podcast, and
I'm always with you.
I tried to play it to you the one time in the car, and you dismissed it
because I wasn't ready.
Because it wasn't Oprah. So I was like, oh, okay.
Robin Sharma says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I wasn't ready.
Okay, it's not that deep.
Anyway, let me introduce the topic. The topic today, I shared a video where he was talking about communication. Your words matter in relationships. We must be conscious of what we're saying in relationships. And I just thought about it. I think it's something we talk a lot about, that we share about, that biblically it says as a man thinks, so he becomes. And basically what you think is eventually what you say, and it's eventually what you become. Yeah. So he was talking about it from an aspect of in a relationship. He used to say things to his wife like, I don't have to be married to you. Sure. And to him, it was just like, I guess it was a way of covering his fear. But he realized that over time, speaking that makes someone feel invaluable. Yeah. And I shared that to say, what you say, and not just in a relationship between your partner, but online, offline, to strangers, most importantly to yourself, really, really matters, whether you believe you're saying it consciously as a joke or unconsciously.
Yeah, I think we do that a lot when we try to protect ourselves. So we say things that really we don't mean.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is an element of truth to them.
Yeah.
Because we're trying to create a cushion for in case this happens.
100%.
Like, so you'll say something like, for instance, what he said that, I can live without you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of to create that cushion that, what, one day, God forbid, something happens.
I've prepared.
Like, I've mentally prepared because I've put it in my mind to say, I don't need you to live, I appreciate you, but I don't need, and we justify it. And it's crazy because we do that so much. Like
100%.
As human beings, I think it's natural instinct to protect yourself. So it's very important that we watch out what we are actually putting out into the world. Like, what are we saying to the people around us, and where does it come from? Does it come from, like you always say, does it come from love or does it come from fear?
Yeah. I think bringing it personally, the words. One thing I've become very conscious about, and it's a good thing when you start. We don't always get it right instantly, but you're in a good place when you're aware. So, example, I used to maybe say stuff about myself that's not kind. Like, oh my gosh, you're so mean, you're so this is whatever it is. And just spit it out like it's nothing. And then you read books and you study the Bible and you realize actually what I keep saying to myself, I'm building who I eventually want to become. And then you get to a place where you're aware, but you're still struggling to speak the right words into your own life or other people's lives. But it is better to be in a place where you're aware, where you're conscious, than in a place where it doesn't even matter anymore. Everything that comes out of your mouth is just negative. Because when you're aware, you can at least take the next step to becoming better. And that's how affirmations come about. So I know the word affirmations is trendy and all of that, but in fact, it's very important. What it essentially means is that speak life into your life. Speak life always, because what you speak, eventually that's what you see. If every day I speak something bad about you, that, oh my gosh, you're lazy. Every day, you're lazy. Eventually, that's exactly what I will see. Not necessarily what you will become, but my perspective of you, my focus will be that he's lazy. Whereas if I think you're an amazing father, or you're such a giver, then my whole focus, remember what you focus on expands. My whole focus becomes that. So that's why it's so important to guard our mouths, to guard our tongue.
I read something, I don't know where, but some guy was saying that that it's so easy for us. And I know, okay, we're talking about obviously the words that you speak to people, but also sometimes we are so good at speaking life into other people's situations and encouraging and affirming other people, but we don't do that to ourselves. And I think that's something that you just touched on a little bit, to say, Uguti, how come you can't be kind to yourself the same way you extend grace to other people? How come when you do something wrong, all of a sudden you're a failure, you are this person who doesn't know what they're doing, maybe this career is not for you, you make one mistake and these are the thoughts that you come into. And I think it might have been Jay Shetty actually, to say that we struggle with that. And part of watching what we say is also the conversations it's the guy who does that show, Prison Break. So he was talking about this. So part of the work is really the conversations you have with yourself. Because if you can master the conversations that you have with yourself, you master the conversations you have with everyone else. So a lot of the times when we are tearing down people with our tongues and kind of what we're doing is we are projecting how we treat ourselves.
100%.
So basically, that's how you treat yourself. You're hard on yourself, so you're hard on everybody else. So it's so important to guard your mouth and to guard the relationship of the things you speak and how you speak to yourself.
And I think just to bring this home as to why this spoke to me so much is on Instagram lately, I've been seeing a lot of personalities post that like people are mean, people are unkind, and obviously I think it's the time of the year, people have just had it. There's a lot of stuff people don't share, and you decide to just mize all the negative stuff. But it's end of the year, you're just tired, and you're tired of people just saying stuff. And I just realized that it's so easy to just say something about someone just because they're on TV or just because they're on radio, and calling people names and trying to run their lives, and you think, whatever, they won't see it.
Or they asked for this.
Or they asked for this because
it
comes with the job. But out of those 100 positive comments, that one comment affects them the same way. Even if you could have 7 good days at work where your boss compliments you, that one day your boss says, this is rubbish, you will feel it. You'll feel it. So
it's not nice.
It's not nice. So when Jay Shetty, and I think it was last week where I was crying to you because out of 200 positive comments, someone said something so mean, but it actually hurts because it's just human nature. So that's why when Jay Shetty spoke about this, I thought about it that imagine if we could educate each other and also build a culture where we count our words and we only speak that which is good to people.
Oh, I'd want to live there.
Right? How
amazing
amazing would that be? And you know, I personally know when I've said something mean, I can feel it inside of me that you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. No, I don't know how people feel on the internet because I'm very mindful of what I put out on the internet. If it's not positive, I don't want to put it out because I know that sometimes, and I mean, I've even said this, we were speaking the other day that sometimes when we talk about supporting friends' businesses, right? Sometimes people will say, okay, but what if I don't like the product, or what if I don't like what my friend is doing? And I said, well, it's not about supporting the product, it's about believing in your friend. It's not about believing in the product, it's about believing in your friend. And so sometimes as little as that, like just because someone is doing something basically that you don't support fully doesn't mean you can't support your friend.
100%.
Doesn't mean, so in the same spirit, when we are on social media, just because we like someone and then they do something that maybe we don't agree with does not mean that now all of a sudden we are turning like we hate and now we're canceling them because now they did one thing that we don't like, but all along we followed this person and we learned something from them. So rather than to kind of put out negativity, how about focus on the positive, or like you always say, just mice it. If it doesn't speak to you, just, unfollow. But
I've actually done that with people who are my favorites. I still enjoy them on different platforms, on TV, on radio, but seeing them maybe on Instagram and it makes me an ugly person, or I feel like I should comment this, or maybe I'll gossip to you that, oh, did you see this? Then I realize actually that's not the right feelings. Maybe I'm not mature enough to handle and to accept that. So let me unfollow. That way I spare my peace and I spare their peace.
And the Bible talks about it. There's a verse, guys, I'm really bad at quoting scripture, but I understand the bigger picture of the Bible. But there is a scripture that talks about, like, in terms of what food you eat. And the Bible really doesn't say don't eat this. But it does say whoever eats, like, eat what you can handle. If you feel like eating a certain meat defiles your body, then don't eat the meat. But if someone else can eat that meat,
leave them
alone. Because it's like the same way. It's like, so it's biblical to say that not everything is for everyone. And if something is not for you, you are well within your rights to like ignore it and to
remove yourself
and to remove yourself from that. But you're not within your rights to bash people that are enjoying that. Or you know what I mean? Because the same thing that, for instance, I could look at something as, this thing, it's making me envious. You could look at it and say, wow, this is so inspirational. This is
motivating.
It's motivating. Like it's both ways.
It's perspective.
But maybe it's because I'm maybe not mature enough to understand it that way. Or maybe I'm not wired that way.
Or you're not in that space at the moment.
I'm not in that space. My life currently does not see things in that way. So I should then protect myself. But I'm not within rights to say, Guti, hi, now everyone is feeling the way I feel. Because, like, again, it works differently for certain people. And if you go into the comments, you will see that. You will see that there are people who get it.
That 90% of the people get it.
They get it. And then it's just you like, how? Shoot, I don't see it. And so it's so important to be aware of that as we go through life.
I think I'm not sure what I was reading, but I was reading something during the week or last week that says you need to celebrate. When you celebrate something in someone's life, you invite it into your own life. And it's not, I think, let's take it in context. Just because I'm saying, oh, well done, you bought a Ferrari, doesn't necessarily mean I'm now manifesting it into my life. No. What I'm saying is that when you give joy you attract joy into your life.
Yeah.
When you give hate, you attract hate into your life. So when someone does well, celebrate them, appreciate them, let them know that, hey, well done, you're doing great. I think they say God is in the neighborhood or something like that. God will be in your neighborhood. God is after a pure heart. So going back to that communication, that your words matter. When you see someone, even though they're doing something you would like to do, celebrate them, clap for them. If you need to ask, how do you do it? Ask, but don't let envy spew in your heart and then it ruins the entire thing.
Yeah.
It's so important that we continue to speak life over people's lives. And what you said, Brendan, what we say to people is a reflection of us.
Of how we feel.
It's either a reflection of your fear or a reflection of your love. So when I'm out here judging people, it just reflects how much I judge myself. When I'm out here complimenting and celebrating people, it's a reflection on how I treat myself. So everything you do, it reflects what's happening on your inside. The monk who sold his Ferrari talks about that it doesn't help if you've got outward success, but inside there's no success. And that shows when you're envious and you talk badly about yourself and you talk badly about other people. You could have it all, but have you ever met someone who has it all, but as soon as they open their mouth, it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have nothing.
They have nothing. So it's so important that as much as we want all the outer things, the good things, that we are still focused on what's happening inside, because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yeah. I think, just in closing, I think one thing that has helped me, and I don't know how I was before, but I used to struggle with just basically social interaction, even to this day. I'm not, like, I have to psych myself up to really be social. And one book that helped me was, I forgot what it's called, but it's a Malcolm Gladwell. No, it's a John Maxwell.
Yeah.
It's a John C. Maxwell book. And basically, one of the steps, there were 10 steps. And I remember this one step because I've really been very intentional about putting it into practice. And basically what it says is to every time you meet someone or you engage in a conversation with someone, start by affirming the positives about that person, complimenting them. Compliment that person about what you see in their lives and what speaks to you. And when you do that immediately and you start to do it often, you teach yourself to be positive.
100%.
You teach yourself to look for the best in people.
Yeah.
So every time I meet someone, I'm very intentional about saying, man, you're a star. Like, people sometimes laugh in our videos where I'll say, this person is the best in the whole world.
But it's very intentional.
And it's true. It's very intentional that I say that because I believe it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say Mpoomy is the best YouTuber in the whole world. And I believe that.
I literally hear that every day.
And I tell her every day.
Offline, on camera, off camera.
And I tell her every day because I truly believe that that's what I see in her. And she's the best mom in the whole world. And if I meet someone, whatever you do, to me, I need to see you as the best version of that. And it will teach me to only see that in people. So even people who aren't like really good at anything, you find something because your mind is so used to creating or to looking for that.
Yeah. I think one of the things that continues to help us in our relationship, or even on days where maybe I'm upset at you or we've had a fight or anything, what will help me is because, like, I think my gut is very, very loud. So I can't, like, I struggle to operate when we're not in good spirits. So sometimes I won't be able to do what I'm supposed to do because we're not in good spirits. And something that has really helped me is when I'm journaling, having to be grateful for you and mention and having to say, God, thank you that I have such the best husband in the world, that you chose him for me. I have to say those things even when I don't mean it at the time, even when I feel like I want to throw you across the wall. But saying those things
couldn't even pick me up.
but saying those things brings back perspective. It reminds me of, why did I fall in love with you? Why are we together? And it goes back to that saying of what you focus on expands. So the more I focus on being grateful for you, being grateful for my family, being grateful for my kids, it shifts that direction and it just makes it easier to live with someone.
It
so
does.
that how we communicate, how we speak to ourselves. But I mentioned it to you that I've realized that the things I say about people that aren't kind are such a direct reflection of what's happening inside of me.
Always the case.
And I'm so aware of that, and I realize it every single day when I'm doing something nasty that, girl, you're just projecting what's happening inside of you. Work on that.
And now we do this thing now where if we catch ourselves gossiping, because a lot of married couples do this.
I think everyone gossips. It's we've made it cultural.
If we catch ourselves gossiping about someone and saying something negative, so we keep each other accountable. So if I say something, Mpoomy will be like, okay, you have to say 10 nice things about that person.
And it's amazing how you actually find 10 nice things. And you have to
realize that actually there was no need for me to say that.
Absolutely no need.
Because this person is doing so many other good things I could have focused on.
Yeah, just because I don't agree with this one ththing, it doesn't write them all. Yeah. So I think you mentioned it to kind of we've been ending things.
We just like lava foodies.
Going back to cancel culture. We 100% don't believe in cancel culture, but we do believe in not consuming something that's not good for you personally. Yeah. But let's not cancel people because nobody's beyond redemption.
And nobody's perfect.
You're not beyond redemption. I'm not beyond redemption. I think if God had to cancel us, we would all we'd all be pretty much canceled. At the end of the day, God still uses who he wants to use, whether we approve them or disapprove them, including yourself. You could literally write yourself out, and God is like, girl, if only you knew what I have planned for you. So don't cancel yourself. Don't cancel other people. Let's love and let's speak love and let's be love and let's be intentional. Yes, we're not all there yet, but let's at least be aware of what we're doing, because once we're aware, at least we can do something about it.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's been our episode today. It's been fun.
Yeah. Very passionate.
Oh, we're passionate about everything, but it's we've dived into even other things more than what we were going to talk about. But I think that's the beauty of this podcast. Yeah. If you guys don't listen to the podcast, it's available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
And Deezer.
And SoundCloud. And SoundCloud sometimes when we remember to upload. But basically, it's just talking about just basically wellness and marriage and relationships and just kind of everyday living.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys should check it out if you guys will enjoy a little longer format talking stuff from us, because usually on YouTube it's about 10 to 15 minutes, but on our podcast it goes from 20 to about 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it's more in depth.
And it's more in depth of what we feel. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Yeah. See you guys on the next one.